Happy Saturday, it's Charcuterie Night. I don't know if your kids like this or not. My kids like it if we cut up some cheese and pepperoni and give that to them. They actually ate dinner earlier and are in bed, and now we're going to have our dinner tonight. So a little date night in, but certainly this charcuterie can be fun for everyone, so don't feel like you can't keep your kids, or make it a date night, get rid of them, send them up to watch a movie, do something yourselves. It's all fun. So starting off, we're going to talk a little bit about boards. Basically, you can do charcuterie on anything. I like to use a wood board, but if you don't have one, you can use a fancy plate. So this is an old Pampered Chef one. I like it because it has a spot for the soft cheese in it. But I also really like to use our pizza peel. It also makes a beautiful board. It's a little bit bigger than our Lazy Susan board, which is what we're going to use tonight. So if you're feeding more people, this would be great for that. You can also use like a really big wood cutting board. That looks cool too. Tonight we're just going to use our Lazy Susan. I love this. It's great for just two people. If we're doing one for the kids, we'll usually do like one grown-up one and a kids one at about the same size. So it's not really a whole lot to doing charcuterie. It's mostly about what you pick and what you like. So pick what you like. There's no wrong way to do it. Charcuterie is actually the meat. The cured meat is charcuterie. So as long as you have cured meat, you can call it a charcuterie board. You can have some cut up pepperoni and some chunks of cheese, charcuterie. It's easy. So don't get too caught into trying to make it look super nice, because then you'll just get stressed out. So just have fun, because that's what it is. So we're doing 3 kinds of cheese. I recommend doing a strong cheese, and today we're going to do a blue cheese. This is actually a triple cream blue cheese, so it also kind of doubles as a soft cheese, but I'm going to do a soft cheese too. But that's going to count as our strong cheese. And we have our soft cheese. I'm doing just a goat cheese. This is just a regular goat cheese. And I just kind of like to equally space them out. You can always move things if you need to. Go ahead and move the other part of that in there. And then, just for our hard cheese, I have a Havarti. It's actually not super hard. It's kind of creamy as far as hard cheeses go, but it counts. And I'm just going to cut off half of this. Because if I put it out there, we'll eat way more than we should. And I'm going to go ahead and slice that up, or get it started. If you're serving to a crowd, if you don't want to slice it up, you want it to stay intact, I recommend that you go ahead and get the first couple of slices going, and that way people don't feel so intimidated of, how am I supposed to do this? So I'm going to pretend like I'm serving it for a crowd, and I'm just going to do a couple, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that in there. And I will stick in our little spreader for our goat cheese. And same thing with our blue cheese, which I'm actually going to go ahead and cut that all up. Anytime you're doing a cheese with a rind, something that's an edible rind like a brie or this blue cheese, the rind is edible, so you want to cut it in a way that keeps the rind intact, and you want to cut. Some people will say the outside is the most flavorful, so you definitely want to cut so that everybody gets a little bit of the outside. So if you're doing a wedge, you would want to cut it long ways so that everyone gets a little bit of that edge instead of just cutting it off. All right, and then I recommend that you do at least 2 kinds of meat. You want to do one spicy meat, or something maybe with some herbs, something a little bit different, and then one fattier meat. Today I just got this 3-pack, so we're actually having 3 kinds, just a basic salami, an herbed salami, and then a black pepper salami, which is so good. I grabbed this one. There's another one that's really good that's actually got different kinds of meat, that at Aldi, I shop at Aldi a lot, but this one's only comes around during the holidays, so I wanted to grab it again. So again, you can take these out, you can fold them, you can find all sorts of fun videos. I'm just gonna throw them on there, and it's gonna end up looking nice because I'm gonna add different stuff in. It's not really, again, if you get too worried about making it look beautiful. You're gonna spend all your time on that and you're not gonna enjoy your meal. So I'm going to make a little space for some ramekins. This is where the fun stuff comes in. I've got some grapes for sweetness. I've got some sweet pickles, some olives that kind of give you a salty and briny flavor. Scooch this around. Oh, I shouldn't try to move the goat cheese. I've got it on my fingers. And then I have some spicy mustard. This is just spicy brown mustard. You can get some fancy grainy mustard, would be great. I'll slide this in here. It's just all about finding room for everything, I think. And again, if you want to fold your salamis and make them look pretty, you can certainly do that. Certain meats, if you get like a bigger cut, are a little bit easier to do. I'm going to sprinkle on some grapes. I did a combo of red grapes and green grapes since I used them for the fruit salad too, and since my kids will gobble up grapes like nothing. And just find some space for them. And I just, before I washed them, I just snipped them off into little clumps. And that way, again, if you are serving a crowd or something like that, it's a little bit easier for people to serve themselves if you got them into clumps instead of having to grab one grape at a time. A couple red ones in there. All right, I also have some dried fruit. I love figs. Dried apricots are really good too to go in, but any kind of dried fruits are good on there. It just adds a little bit of sweetness and some chewiness. And the thing that I love the most about doing these boards is testing different combinations and saying, oh, what does this taste like if you put it with this? Or what does this taste like if you put it with this? So that's kind of why I like to have a bunch of different flavors and textures on my board. And then last but not least is just a little bit of crunch and also a little bit of saltiness. So I've got some almonds, you can do some pistachios, whatever your favorite nuts are, whatever you have on hand. And we're just gonna sprinkle them around and it's gonna help it look fancy. And again, just give something different so that each bite you're doing is going to be different than the last. Cute little spoons here in. Help us get stuff out. And then I recommend doing at least 2 different kinds of carb, I guess, a cracker and maybe a baguette type bread. Tonight we're gonna do just a flatbed bread cracker for crunchy, and then I'm kind of obsessed with these little breadsticks. They're crunchy, you can wrap meat around them. They're super good. But that's all, we're gonna do this. Again, wine not required. I like it. I'm gonna have some. So there you go. This is our Lazy Susan, and I put the charcuterie set in there with it. But you can just put it on a plate and it'll turn out great, however you like it.